Okay. So, okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mr. Sharma, and I'm your mentor for this bootcamp batch 2 of May 2025 term. And we would be starting our bootcamp from today itself. So, our first goal would be to first do a project introduction, and we will look into the project statement of this term. And then we will also deep dive into the basic setup of our application. So the today's code would be to set up the backend of our application, which would be to create models, database instances, and also to write down. We will try to write down the login, sign up APIs and CRUD APIs, and we will also look into how to test those APIs without any front end dependencies. So like for Mad1, you would have to use the HTML file to check everything was working correctly or not. But in this case, we would be using uh, a Postman, a dedicated app, or some other application which can help us to do the API testing, which is a very important method to know any errors and beforehand. So before this, can you tell me, like, have you taken Mad1 project in this term itself, or there is someone who is doing Mad2 only in this term?
I'm doing Mad 2 only this time. I done Mad 2 a year back. Mad 1.
Okay, yeah. What about others?
Yeah, it's the same for me too.
Okay. This is okay. So for this particular term, we have two statements which are available to us. One is this quiz master, and second one is this vehicle parking app. So we will first go through the vehicle parking app. Uh, what about others? Others, have you taken Mad1 this term? Please react so I could know. Like,
No, like I completed my Mad one a while ago.
okay,
Yeah.
Sir, I completed my Mad one an year ago, last to last year.
okay. And any problem statement which you have, project statement which you have already started working on, or this is the after this you will start. What is the scenario?
After this, we'll start. I mean, I'll start after this.
Okay,
I mostly continue with this parking one only. Yeah,
vehicle parking.
yeah.
About so mostly they are working on like have done previously the problem statements or projects mostly. So first we will look into this vehicle parking app. So it's simple. It's a multi-user application which requires an administrator and other users that manages different parking spot lots and all those information. The framework which we would be using is the Flask for our backend APIs, Vue.js for our front-end UI, and Ginger 2 is you can use but not in a very major format, especially on UI side. You can use it on the backend task, which would be to generate the mails and all. There you could use Ginger 2 template. There it would be fine. SQLite for our database creation, and then Redis for caching and Redis Celery for batch jobs. So this would be the major frameworks which we will be using. The platform will have especially two roles. One would be the admin, which would be the root access or the super user of the application, which will not require any registration, which means that whenever our application will be initialized, if there is no information of admin credentials present in our database, we have to create it automatically through code. It should not be done manually or any other way. It will always be created automatically when the app initialization is being done. Then there can only be one admin, so no more than one is allowed. Admin can create a new parking spot, a parking lot, and a spot both of them. And each parking lot can have any number of parking spots for full wheel parking. It is a note that only four wheeler parking is allowed. So make sure so it's not like in a single space two wheeler scooters or bikes or some we are allowing parking. So it's only for four wheeler parking. Admin can view the status of all the available parkings and spots and everything on his or her dashboard, and he can also manage, which is the CRUD operation part, where which he can add and delete any number of parking lots. Admin can increase or decrease the number of parking spots inside the lot. User can also reserve a parking space. So he can register, choose an available parking lot, and he can also book the spot and release or vacate the spot. Uh, Major terminologies which we would be using is the user. The user would be like the one or the customer that he would be able to register and log in to our application and reserve any parking spot. Admin would be the super user which will have the full access to our application and does not require any login or anything. Then the parking lot would be like it as a physical area where the collection of parking spots are available. So you can take it as a rectangle box which are inside multiple lots. So spot is like a physical space in rectangle where each one car can be parked there. Uh, and each parking lot will have a certain number of columns, which would be this ID, prime location, prime address, pin code. Also for user registration, the important thing which you have to manage is that the user can only be register or the user like during the registration phase you have to ask for the preferred pin code, so that you should only be showing them the nearest uh, parking spots to them. So that would be the another case. And then the reserved parking spot would be like the one which is being booked by the user. It would be having an ID, spot ID, user ID, parking timestamp, leaving timestamp, parking cost, or this information. Uh, this is the available wireframe which we will be looking. Core functionalities which are the login and register form with fields like username and password. Application can only have one admin identify its role. We would be using plus JWT based security token based authentication system. to implement role-based access control. And for admin dashboard, the admin would be able to add would be added automatically whenever new database would be created. And admin can't add each parking spot individually, so the number of parking spot will be created based on the number of maximum number of parking spots in a lot. And then the admin can view all the registered users. User dashboard will have, like, he can choose available parking lot and a location. So
Can admin block or reserve the slot?
user
No, admin.
admin can't reserve or block a spot,
Okay.
only from user side. He can see or he can delete the number of maximum lots, like slots which he has created under a lot. So he can manage, he can modify those sections.
Okay.
Okay, and then user dashboard for the user. You have to remember that database must be created programmatically, like the code or somewhere, something like that. We would not be, it is not allowed to implement scheduled jobs or some, like not using any manual function or something. That is not allowed. So that is also an important thing which you have to uh, keep in mind. And then this is the important field, which is the backend jobs. So each there are three backend jobs which we have to complete. One is like scheduled jobs, which are the daily reminders. The application should send daily reminders to users on GChat using Google Chat, Webhooks, or SMS or mail something. User can check, like, let's say if a user has not visited or parking lot is created by the admin. If yes, then send alert asking them to book a parking spot if required by them. Also, you can send a reminder in the evening every day, like a particular time you can choose. So the daily reminders would be sent on the evening, any particular time which you want it to be sent. Then we have the monthly activity report, which generally shows, which will send a HTML report to the user, and which will include how many number of parking spots that is being booked till now by the user for that particular month, and how much sale that is being done, and like costs the user have paid till now, and all other statistics information which you can pay, you can send it in the monthly activity report. Then we have is user triggered async job, which is like whenever the user will click on the button, it will download all the details. So it is not uh, linked to any month wise or something. It would download from the start until the user has done the first booking till now. How many bookings are done till now? Bookings have been done by the user and all those information. Same report which you are showing in here will be shown to the user in a CSV format, but there is a no month limitation, which means it will only show month-wise report, but it is not limited to month-wise. And then we have this for performance increase and caching. We would be using caching to increase the performance and uh, like expiry and API performance as all. For front end side to show the charts and everything, we would be using chart.js to show or to show the charts on the front end side. Uh, Now the overall wireframe of the application looks like this. So it has the user login. So login page would be single one through which the admin can log in, or user can also log in. And then we have this user sign up page where only the user will be able to sign up. And then based on the role which which who has logged in, let's say if the logged in user is an admin, so they would be able to they would be redirected to this admin dashboard where they could see all the available parking spots, like this is the lots available, under that how many spots are available and all those information, and how many are occupied, total number of available and all those information, where he have the functionality to edit, which is like changing anything, which could be price per hour, maximum spots or anything, or delete, which is deleting a particular spot or lot, that both are uh, doable, and then creating a new lot as well, where same form. He also have a users page where he would be able to see all the registered users in his dashboard, and then a search bar where they have admin would have the functionality to search through multiple parameters. So he can search a user through user, he can search a parking spot by the location, or any other information which you think can be done, would be done, can be done here itself. Uh, and then we have this chart where you can show statistical charts, like summary of how many available and occupied parking lots are there, revenue from each parking lot, and all those information. Then we have this user dashboard where he would be seeing their recent parking history. Here also you can give the button to download this triggered based report. And then we have the search bar where, based on the different parameters, which could be, if you want to park on some different pin code, he can search that, type that pin code or location name, and he can search, the lots would be available to him, and he can book a particular lot, a spot in that particular lots. He can release the parking spot through the release button, and he would also have a summary where you just show how many parking spots are like already used by the user, and what is the overall summary of that. So this would be the overall wireframe of the project. Any doubt on the functionality wise of vehicle parking system, you can ask now. Anyone?
Could you please explain regarding the monthly reports that were being triggered? Uh,
So monthly active report, what will happen is, on the first day of every month, so we will be running a salary job which would take care of this day check. Like if the current date is the first day of the month, it will trigger a function which would send the mail to all the registered users we have. So uh, we, in the registered registration form, please remember that you have to ask for email as well, because through that the user would be, we would be using any dummy one, so you can ask any email id or something, and we will send it to that. Even username we can add and do some syntaxing. So it would be a dummy email service through which we would be showing the monthly activity report and all those information. So monthly activity report will trigger on the first day of every month, and daily reminders will trigger on the, let's say, 6 p.m. every day, like that.
yeah, in a monthly report, it will like it's a compilation of the previous month, right? Like what were the
Yes,
yeah,
previous month.
yeah, like what about the daily one? If the user didn't use a parking lot today, then what we gonna send in that report, in the daily report?
Like we would be sending nothing. Like you can send like no parking history present. It's up to like if they have the history, show them. If they don't have the history, we can show the particular message to them, like what is the current scenario. So that is not an issue.
Uh, okay, like if we don't have any kind of restrictions, right? Like he can park like continuously for 2 to 3 days also, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And also it ups to you, like you want the charges to be per hour basis or per day basis. It's up to you, and based on that you have to take care of at the end, taking a final charge. Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Uh, what is the procedure that we're gonna follow throughout this 15 days? Like, are, is there gonna be any split up? Like, we'll be handling back end first or front end first?
Can you repeat your question?
Like, do we have any specified flow that we go through in this in these 15 days?
Yes, so like I will come to that part as well. Like
Yeah,
what would be the flow and how we would be going ahead with.
yeah, okay, sure.
Anyone else have doubt on the project statement?
Uh, Sir, only one
Yes.
doubt. So that backend jobs, is that using Google Webhook is compulsion, or we can
No,
use?
no. We would be using ba- WSL terminal, and in that we would be not using the Google Webhook API or something. We would be using a dummy email service through which we can send and do all those information. Uh, we would be not using the WSL. Sorry, not the Google one. So any dummy email, let's say vehicle parking at the Gmail, if you are entering, that would be fine as well.
Okay, sir.
Anyone else? Anyone else have any doubts? Okay, so the overall flow would be you would have received through mail and also this document, which is the overall 14-day timeline which we are following. So today's task we would be doing after this project statement is done. We would be doing the basic backend setup. Then on Saturday and Sunday, the most target would be to the implementation of models token based authentication or implementation on the front end side and role based access controls. So everything functionality wise that is needed to complete your application are already present here, and based on that what we are covering on different days are already put up here. We have this much of doubt clearance session, but as we have on 13th this uh, cruise one. So we could have this we would depend. We could have a day break off and this day as well. So 2 day break where you can just focus on your quiz one. And from 14 we will restart again, and we could extend it to 2 more days as well. So it will depend. At the end, if you need time before quiz for 2 days, we could have a break where we won't be having any sessions, and we can extend it later on. Each session, which would be the main session, would be the recorded, and I will be sharing the YouTube link in the G space and the GitHub code and everything that is present as well. So that I would be sending it to you as well. And calendar invite you have already received, so you can follow this sheet to know in what day what there is a current main session or something. For doubt clearance session, if you have any particular doubts or something, please put me in the loop, put me ping me in the G space or somewhere, and I would join the session. As usually not more student joins usually, so it would be if you inform me of 5 minutes before informing me, it also works for me. Just inform like sir, I have some doubt or something, and I would join the meeting. No issue with that. So this would be the overall flow of our session. Uh, Anyone have any doubts?
Sir, can you once tell about GitHub? How to
Yeah,
make?
I'm coming to, yeah. I will come to that point.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So, second most important thing which we have is this GitHub helper document which they have shared with us. So, in this, just make sure you created a GitHub account using your student mail ID, and you have to create. Uh, so everything related to creating a repo, pushing your code, sorry, not pushing, adding the collaborator to that particular one. Everything is mentioned here. So please follow these instructions and make sure you fill this Mat2 form. And once this is done, you should, uh, means if you have not done any this GitHub related task, you could lose 6 to 7 marks in this particular part. So make sure you created your GitHub account. Now we will look into I will demonstrate you how to create a GitHub repository. So let's say new Mad2 May. So it's already removed 2025. Yeah. So name your repository. For you, uh, you should have to name it like this. They have already mentioned it. So create repo library management. So you can name it as vehicle parking app dash v2. That would be fine. Uh, just a minute. Okay. So name it your repository name. You have to click on private. I would be putting public as I have to share with you. Click on add a readme file and you can choose the license for MIT license and click on create repo. Once this would be done, you would be seeing something like this. And then to create a repo, add the collaborator, click on this settings, click on collaborators. If you have implemented the two-factor authentication, you could be asked for a code. So I would enter my, and once this is done, you would be seeing something like this. Click on add collaborators, add people in the file. You in the same GitHub helper document. They have already mentioned this one. As this is a Mat2, so copy this, just paste it inside it, and you will see this. Click on it and add on. I don't have to do this, but you can like just click on it, and the invite would be sent to the user, and that's it. Now later on we will see how to publish your code to and do all the stuffs there. Now this GitHub repo is there, so we would clone it in our terminal. So basically you can open your terminal. Uh, let's say I would like to do it on documents, git clone, and this git space clone space the link. The link I have got it from click on this code, copy this URL, paste it here, and enter. Cloning would take this one. Now we would go inside it. So git mad2 May uh, 2025, and from here opening a VS Code, you can just click code space dot, and it will open the VS Code in the VS Code the current folder structure. Now, first thing we would do today is to set up our backend. Until this part, everything is clear, right? Or any doubts?
Sir, can we use our personal email ID for this GitHub task?
No, please create your own student mail ID through.
So it has to be a student ID, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, great. So here we would create a new folder, backend. Also, I would share with you Mad2 commands. Just a minute. So we have this document which I have prepared. So every command which I would be running and mostly important things would be present here itself. So you can follow this and commands and everything. So I would share it with you. Okay, I've shared it in the G space, so you can get it from there. Uh, so yeah, in the backend folder, what we needed is for currently would be an app.py, and another one would be model.py. This would be the two important things. If you want, you can work with virtual environment, which is great. Make sure for Mat2 project, for backend task, for everything, you are using WSL terminal. So a WSL is an Ubuntu based terminal. So you can search on YouTube if you've already not downloaded it. Please download it because there is some dependencies issues on there's some problem with the Windows terminal. So it created some issues and problems. So make sure you have the correct terminal with you. So please download that with you. So now we will type date time, import date time from Flask SQL Alchemy. So we are importing SQL. So in this file, we will simply define our database. So generate password hash and this check password hash we don't need here. And app equals to Flask, and this would be the config. So app SQLite and this. The naming I would, let's say, vehicle parking. So vehicle, vehicle.sqlite, and db equals to SQL alchemy app. So now class user So this you have already know like how to create a table in your uh, in the Mad one as well. So in the class the class which you will define would be the table name of it, and db dot model signifies that we are defining it as a table. Inside the class we define the columns name. So the two ways define a variable of the column which you define, and equals to db dot column, db dot integer primary key true. Then also we need a username, uh, unique equals to true, db.string 80 means the character limit we are putting. So if the character limit of the username goes beyond 80, we would get a warning. Unique equals to true means in our database another one with the same username cannot exist, and nullable equals to false means it cannot be null in our database. So it should be something like something should be present here. And same we need email, password, and next one would be the role, db.column, and this one. So db.string same type, nullable, at default equals to user, which means whenever we logs in, if we do not define any role or something, we would be using user as a default one to be saved. So there would be two roles. One would be user, second one would going to be an admin, and that's it for user type, class user. Then we need, let's say we need category table. So db dot model id equals to db dot column, db dot integer, and we don't need name, unique, and we would be creating category id as the foreign key. Sorry, here we don't need this. So I would be using some different problem statement. I can't work on the same problem statement which you this which is present for this particular term. So now I've defined this product table which have an ID, name, description, price, and this category ID which have a foreign key which links to this product table. Sorry, category table, and this category back referencing with using lazy equals to true, and we know this get created at. So now we will work under the context, db.createAll. You already know this way all the tables which we have defined above would be created. And next thing would we would be doing is creating the user information, admin uh, admin credentials if it does not exist. Is none. Admin password equals to generate password hash. And so what we are doing is generate password hash. What it will do is it will save the password in an hash format and a particular format, which by normal means we would not be able to identify. So that would be the one, and then we would use admin equals to table, username equals to admin, and then email equals to admin at the rate, let's say for me it would be grocery.com, and password admin password, comma role admin, db.session.add, db dot session dot commit, and already exists, admin user already exists. So this way we are creating our information of the user in our model.py. Next we will initialize our model.py to our main application, which is app.py. Any doubts in this model.py? Anyone? Okay. Next would be defining it in the app. So from class we would import class JSONify response. We are using Fast RESTful for writing our APIs. Recpass and resources would be used to pass the data which we will get from front end side. So from Flask alchemy, we don't need this. From Flask JWT extended import JWT manager, create access token, JWT required, get JWT identity, and unset JWT to this. So each one JWT manager will help us to manage the different users which will be signing on login in to our application. JWT required is the authentication which makes sure like for every API call, like previously you would be using @login required in your Mad1 project. Same way this would work, and it makes sure that no unauthorized access is being made, is being like triggered for a particular API call. Then we have this create access token, which will create the access token for us, and then get JWT identity would be used. So let's say you would be passing an access token from the front end side. To get information from that, it is used which unhash the access token and give us the important informations we need. Then we have this unset JWT cookies, which we would be using to log out our user. And from Flask uh, Flask course, we would import course, and from model we would import db, comma user, each table we will call. We don't need this right now. For now, this is fine. We will define this SQLite, track modifications, app.config, JWT secret key. So secret key is usually being used for bigger organization to bypass and to get the token key informations directly. And then we would use salary. And now we db.init app. So we are initializing our db, which we have defined it here, uh, here to our application. And next thing we would be defining is our course. So course is simply a cross origin resource system, which what it does is, let's say it is a safety feature which makes sure like any unwanted request or multiple requests if coming from a particular server or something, it blocks after a certain period of time. So it is a safety feature which is important in our case. Then we have this JWT manager and API equals to API, and so this is done. Last thing which we need is if name, we know this tab dot run debug equals to true. So this is the overall go through which will initialize all those information and will define a model.py. Now if I run it here, Python app, sorry, cd backend Python app.py. I have all the necessary libraries installed. If you are getting no this library not present, you can simply go to Mad2 commands and there everything is there. So pip install and whatever the information you need is already put up there, and you can download it from here. Now, as soon as you can see when the application have run, it has created an instance folder with vehicle.sqlite, which contains admin credentials, and you can see the password is in encrypted format, which we can't understand normally. So this is how we define a model, initialize it with our app, and set up our basic app.py for our application. Any doubts on this part? Anyone? Okay. So now next thing we will look into how to create APIs and how to write down an API. So two APIs, three API I will write it down, and based on that you can give it a try to write APIs for your case. So one API which we would be writing is sign up API. So as we are using RESTful, class RESTful, the way to write down the APIs are, you have to define class, name of this class, resource, and the next way is usually next way is, so now the define is class. Previously you were using something like this, right? App dot route and something like this, and the method equals to post. So you're defining methods here instead of it in the class RESTful. How it works is you define definitions inside the classes, and each definitions will define the methods which you are allowing for that particular class to be triggered. So for post method, we could define def post. Usually if there is no information which you are sending from the backend to front end, in our case sign up do not need some information to be sent from backend to front end, so we can skip the get method which in Mad1 we were using, but in this it does not need it. And so for post method, how we will do is we will use parser, which will use rec parse. Rec parse is the way which will request, we will parse our informations there. Then parser dot add argument. So add argument is like a simple check, like whatever the informations we are getting is correct and in correct format as well, and nothing is missing out. If everything is present, then it would be great. Otherwise, we would not go through whole app code of it, and we will simply trigger the warnings. So required equals to true. Then also we need this parser dot add argument, comma dot email. We need password, and we need role, but it's not required. If we are not getting it by default, we will take it as a user. And once everything is done, we could use args equals to parser dot pass argument. So it will give us, it will convert the information which we are getting in a JSON format into a key value pairs and save it inside this argument, which we can use to do simple checks. So if user dot query dot filter by username equals to args and the key value which is username uh, dot first, we would just simple return message username already exists with this particular code. So 400 is an error code. So there are different type of codes here. So we have 400, which is like error. There is some error. 200 is means success. Then we have 201, which is like database is being created. Then we have 401, which is unauthorized, and 403 forbidden, 404 not found. So these are different type of status codes which are available to us, and we can use those to send those particular errors to the front end, and it would help us to do different stuff. So if user is already not there, we would do this. Next we will do is hashed password. Password equals to uh, generate password hash arguments password we have not inputted hash we need from check password hash. These two informations we need. It should work. Uh, a new user username email password role and db.session.add new user commit, and we will simply return. So return every way. So returning is also a way. So in view or in front end side, we have to send the in a particular JSON format, which is simply like key value pair. So it will have a key, which is this one, and it will associate with a particular value which we have to send, and then the proper code of it, like what was the thing. So now the class has been defined, but the API is not been linked. So if you go to slash sign up or something, it is going to give you an error because this is does not exist. To add the API to it, api.add resource, the class of it which you are sign up, and then so this is the class name, comma API name which we are giving. So we need to, let's say this one. So slash sign up. Now it would be registered. Now how to do? Let me. Okay. Okay, let's define two other APIs as well, and we will do. So we will use login resource. A login resource we have written. In this, what we are doing is in the parser same. We will only receive username and the password. We will pass those, check that the user exists or not. If not, user does not exist, or password hash, like the user password which he has entered and the password which is present in our database is correct. Is not correct, then we will just return invalid credentials 401. Then if everything is fine, we would create an access token. Identity equals to username role, and we can also add these two informations. We could also send user info to the front end side as well. So user info equals to user name, user dot username, and email, user dot email, and let's say you want to send role as well. Now this is done. Return, you can return. So until now we were just sending a message or something to the front end side. Now we are sending some data to it. So the way is to send multiple data. Let's say one data is this access token. Second one is this user info. So we do it like uh, one JSONify. We would just do return in the curly braces access token and the value which this variable holds, comma user user info. This 200 code. So this is the login. Next thing which we required is logout API. So class logout resource, and here now like previously you for logout functionality in Mad1 you were using at the rate JW login required. Here we use JWT required, and then in the post we would just receive the we will response make a response log out successfully and use this unset JWT cookies and return response. That's it. And this will like it will automatically log out the user from our application. We would write down the APIs of it. Also, let's say you want another API check, we can write is, let's say you want to send user info to the, so at the rate JWT required, we want it to be secured. Def get um, users equals to user dot query dot all, which means we are getting all the information, and we will create an list. So it will have this id user dot id comma username user dot username email uh, for for users, and we will just return uh, user info 200. uh, um, what, mm, yeah, no, it was the indentation error. Write this. Yeah. So now we have defined all the major APIs, basically outside API and one API through which we can write down the get API to send the data to the front end. Next part would be we will to how to do the testing of it. So we will look into that part. Before that, any particular doubts on the login, logout, or the user info which we have written? Anyone? T, Venu, Harsad, Siddharth, Pesha, anyone?
I think once we start testing it, then only we will able to have any doubts. Otherwise, no
Ah,
issue.
okay. So now to do the testing, we can you can go to extension. In the extension, you can type Thunder client. It will show this one. You can install it if it's not already present. And as soon as you will install, you will see able to see this particular Thunderbolt icon here. You can click on it here, and it will show something like this. Click on new request. It will open. Now here, paste first thing which you can paste is this API, and with, let's say, sign up. Now let's say I've sent the get method. 405 method not allowed. Now get post. We need a body, so you can add in a form, or you can add a JSON format which could something look like this. Uh, User, it would require, a username, email, password, and role. Okay, username colon, let's say user one. I think we need to password, role. Let's say not pass the role. We would see the default thing. Email, uh, user1 gmail.com. Let's pass this thing down. So in double quotes, we have this key which has some values. We would send, see, 210 created, user created successfully. If we look in our database as well to confirm, uh, we are seeing the user one credentials here. So we have done with this. Next thing which we required is login. So we would send login. We don't need this email thing, so we would remove this. Again, post method. So see, we have received this response. So it has an access token, which is a unique one. See, it has some values, and if we unzip it, we can get back some of the values which we have put up inside as an identity, and this user info as well. So currently, like our application very basic, so we can parse it, we can check it with a very basic check. So you can just type JWT decode, first one jwt.io, paste your this one. See, it has decoded the payload, and it in the subfield you will see this username and the role part, which we have saved it inside. If you go back to the code, uh, login, username, and the role, which we are seeing it here itself. So we can use this information. Let's say you don't want the role part to be sent in front, like direct value. We want that it should be unzipped, and then we should get, so that no one else can debug it and use it for our own purpose, like changing the role value or something. So instead of that, sending it from here, you can remove it here and send it inside this, and we will use the access token to make sure everything is working fine. Next, we have this JWT required thing. So how it will work is copy paste the access token. You copied it. Let's say the API name is slash user info, user info, which is get. Now let me send 401 unauthorized, as it we does not have a missing authorization header. So go to have auth. You can go to auth, click on bearer, and here paste the token which you copied during the login phase, and just send it. See status okay, admin credentials, all the user info which is present currently on our database, we are able to see it here. So this is how you can do a basic testing of your application. Like every API and everything is working correctly for you, and every informations you are getting in different test cases based on that as well. Like everything is working correctly. So this is how you do initial testing of your application. So you can test it through this. Now, next thing we will look into is pushing your code to the GitHub. So go back to this main directory which was made to this. Type git add space dot and enter. Next time is git commit minus m double quotes, and if you go to this particular one, should be git alpha. Here it should show. Sorry, vehicle parking milestone. Click on this. So as soon as you click scroll it down, you would be able to see this git commit messages. So copy one of them, which on what phase you are on. Currently you can check. So git commit minus m inside the double quotes, you can put that message, and then git, and then git push. Git push will change push all your codes to the GitHub. So now if I refresh it here, I should be able to see the new folder, and you can see everything has started showing on the GitHub. So this is how you can also uh, um, push your code to the GitHub. I will share it. Okay. Um, you can print this one. So I have so two documents are already pinned. GitHub is also there. So from now from this point on, I would be putting all those codes and everything in this same GitHub document, and you can get the code from here itself. And this is the basic uh, setup of our backend that we have done today, and how to write down APIs and do the basic testing of it. So you can try to replicate. So you can till tomorrow's session, as tomorrow is a doubt clearance, you can try to look into the codes. You can try to replicate some of the parts which was sign up, login, or you and the model especially. Even before that, try you can try to create model database tables according to your needs. And if you're facing some issues or something, you can ping me on the G space and tomorrow doubt session as well. So that's it for today's session. In the next session, I think which is uh, on Saturday, we will look into how to do the front end setup of the application, and we will look into that part. Any doubts on the GitHub part which we have done, or anything else? Also, GitHub document, GitHub related commands and everything are present here. So Git command sheet, you can click on this one and it will redirect it to this one. Here every command is prepared and put up here. So you can get all those commands from this one. So, and that is present under this. Name it as. So, yes,
Sir, can you drop that link because actually chat reloaded. I am not getting that.
this one.
Yes, sir.
dropped it.
Thank you, sir.
Then pull them both. Okay. Okay. So, anyone else? Any doubts?
Yeah, you'll be sharing the recorded
Yes. As soon as
session.
I will get the recordings from Google, we'll put it on the YouTube channel and we'll send it to you.
Yeah, thank you.
And what about the tomorrow session?
Tomorrow is the doubt clearance, so you can go through the recording, and if you have any doubts, you can join that.
Okay.
Otherwise, next on Saturday we will connect again.
Okay. So you will upload today's recording?
Most probably takes 1.5 hours, so mostly in 1 or 2 hours you can get the recordings. In the G space, I will share the link. So in
Okay.
the G space, it would be available to you.
Okay. Thank you.
And code I have already shared. You can go through the GitHub thing. Okay. Okay, then no doubts. Then you can give it a try, and we would